Hello and welcome to all the men and women of the West. I'm Joe, and today I'm continuing the set of videos following Stormwind as part of our 1000 sub celebration. This is the last 1000 sub celebration video the channel is having to do, so yes, finally done. This time it's an analysis of the peoples and culture, almost the civilization of Stormwind. Principal colors of Stormwind are blue and gold, rather like France's principal colors of blue and gold to an extent. And when I say France's, I mean the fleur de lis. Blue, this would be the color of truth. And yellow is a fairly maternal color, with gold signifying wealth. Lions are, of course, a royal icon. So the emblem with the golden lion is showing a symbol of war and wealth, of power. Most of the people are peasants, likely serfs, given that Stormwind is supposed to be a medieval European-style kingdom, a Germanic one, to be quite honest, with most of the people minding the fields or working in the mines and the like. The nobility of Stormwind are fairly proud, arrogant, and are obsessed with military glory and valor. This is epitomized in the figures of Anduin Lothar, Lane, and even Turalian to an extent, and Varian. This is shown and made very evident in, for example, the Warcraft movie. Though not exactly accurate to the lore, the film did show us some of the prevailing attitudes and views one can find in Stormwind that's fairly consistent with the games. That is to say, Lane was obsessed with achieving a great set of military victories over the Horde. Anduin had little regard for Khadgar breaking his oaths to the Kirin Tor. Though Khadgar had good reasons to do so, this did not matter, as loyalty was everything, at least to the Stormwindian mind. We can glean that the nobility are obsessed with war and becoming heroes. In this regard, there are a nobility, that is to say knights and lords and barons and whatnot, so that there's very obviously a feudal structure. And the values of Stormwind, that is to say valor, victory in war, and loyalty, are very strong themes throughout the story of Stormwind. As to the religion, they followed the Church of the Holy Light, that of Lordaeron, with the Order of the Silver Hand playing a large role, the Northshire Abbey, for its part, being one of the centers of the faith, like Saint Denis was for the French. What's also interesting is that by the time of World of Warcraft era, and even before that by Warcraft 3, the people celebrated a holiday called the Remembrance Day, which was mainly meant to celebrate heroes like Anduin Lothar and Lane and others who had fallen in the wars against the Horde. Later, this celebration encapsulated figures such as Uther and those who fell to Arthas, the Death Knight, I mean. Now we get to the political structure of Stormwind. The head of state is obviously the king, a title reserved for members of the Rin dynasty by the time of Warcraft. You have the crown prince, you have the queen consort, and all the usual trappings of a feudal society. But you have, instead of the three estates, you have the house of nobles, which includes ministers, advisors, and the like. You have a court conjurer, who's to counsel the king on matters of magic. And later, under Varian, the king's passed down as a hereditary title, head of the alliance, or the title of High King. But this was not originally a title that the kings had before Varian. There's also the rank of King's Champion, which is a military rank in the kingdom. It's one that only Anduin Lothar really used, it seems. There's also the usual thing of public executions being a kind of source of entertainment for the common people, with thieves being noteworthy for being executed after being caught in the act 3 times. What's also interesting is that places like Lakeshire have their own court and law, which suggests that the law of the realm is more akin to England's common law rather than the civil law of, say, France. It's based on a legal precedent. Okay, what that means is that there's degrees of authority, like the king's sheriffs, that you can appeal to, and the king is the overall legal head. And so you have the king's court, which is the Supreme Court. There are different traditions of law in courts all throughout the realm. You have regional courts and laws, but they're all part of the same common law. There are basic ideas that are the same, and they'll probably eventually amalgamate into one large code of or set of laws. A certain amount of similarities between Stormwind and France, but also between Stormwind and England, especially with the common law. What is more is that apparently criminals can be conscripted just as others could, such as the peasants. That joining the military seems to be, in some cases, a lifelong career. One that offers, as in the case of Rome, the possibility of rising through the ranks and achieving high status. Though there are few examples of this in Stormwind's history. The military seems to be a noble pursuit in the eyes of the people of Stormwind, likely only as up to the rank of guard. The title of knight is likely reserved primarily for the nobility, though occasionally peasants are upgraded to that status, but to be upgraded to that status is to be ennobled. That's it for today. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash that like and that subscribe button, as though you were Arthas taking down Sylvanas.